Hey gang, Spada here, and today we are taking a look at Transformers Energon's Terracon Cruellock. Now Cruellock is, well, he's a little dinosaur. I think he's supposed to be an Allosaurus, not a Velociraptor, but he's not so bad. And what we have here is actually his hyper or attack mode. This big green part, actually you're supposed to take that out of the tail for his normal mode. But it looks like he's constantly in attack mode with these bright green claws on his feet and hands. But, whatever. Now, I really do like this dinosaur mode. This, it works for me. It just really works for me, and it's very poseable. But I prefer to have him kind of leaning over like this, since he is a dinosaur slash velociraptor thingy. He does have a gimmick. It's supposed to be able to push or pull this one bit right here to have his mouth open and close, but it doesn't work on my figure, and it never has. But the directions do say he's supposed to do that. Now, this figure did see a red repaint called Dinobot later in the line, and I mean, it's a bright red repaint. So, yeah, Hasbro got a lot of mileage out of that, but I really like this paint scheme. Transformation-wise, it's actually very simple. The transformation is supremely simple. I'm going to go ahead and remove the Energon chip. To remove the sword here, we're actually going to just split the tail open, and we can remove the sword, and then a blaster. There we go. So the rest of the transformation, like I said, is very simple. What we're going to do is take the hips and actually rotate them forward like that, and then we can push them together, and that will auto-transform the rest of the figure. Most of you know my thoughts of auto-transforming. I don't like it, but it works here. So we'll then straighten out the legs, rotate the head around, and then the tail, you can either just kind of have it fan open like that completely, or you could just keep it hanging off his individual pelvis, or individual sides. I like to just have it hanging off like that. Overall, though, it's not bad. My biggest complaint is the hip section keeps coming undone. The pegs, once you peg them in really tightly, they stay, but otherwise they just kind of flop around. And the face is a little weird. It looks like it kind of reminds me of a Dark of the Moon Leadfoot. Overall, though, the aesthetic of Robot Mode isn't too bad. It's very, hey, we have a dinosaur that turns into a robot. Not bad. The Energon chip plugs over the clear Decepticon symbol, and there's not a Decepticon symbol anywhere else on this figure, oddly enough. The sword can either be held like this on the side, or you combine it with the blaster, and then he has this big Starscream-S meat cleaver sword. I prefer to display him like this with the giant sword. I think the giant sword works. However, I have noticed that the ball joint, especially in the shoulder, isn't exactly strong enough sometimes to hold the sword in certain poses. Overall, not a bad figure. Poseability-wise, he's a lot better than some of the others. Head is on a swivel joint. We have a swivel and a ball joint here in the shoulder. Ball joint for the elbow. Wrists do not move. Ball joint in the leg. Swivel or hinge joint here in the knee, and a hinge joint here in the ankle for some much more dynamic poses. But you do have to remember he is a little bit back heavy due to the tail and the large dino head sticking off, hanging off there. Overall, not a bad figure. It could have been a lot worse considering the other dinosaurs we've had in the past. Does it belong in your collection? Again, not a bad figure, but really only if you have to have him. There are a lot more better dinosaur figures out there on the market. Specifically, any of the Dinobot figures. Even the Transmetal 2 Dinobot figure is, in my opinion, better than this guy. This guy, like I said, isn't bad, but isn't anything special.